Last weekend. Josh Caroma's strike wasn't enough for 3 points for Pompey against Fleetwood. Yesterday afternoon saw plenty of away wins up and down League One. A crucial result is Lincoln City's 3 points at Portman Road, all ahead of Pompey's trip to Charlton tomorrow night. All of this means Pompey remain in 4th position, with a handful of games in hand on those above them. Join us tonight as we look back at the stalemate at Fratton Park from last weekend. We'll also look ahead to Charlton Athletic against Pompey, kicking off in 25 hours' time. All of that and more here for the 10th time on 4-0 Sunday Live.
A very good evening to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back after a week away. We are here. Hope you're doing really well tonight. This is the 10th edition of 4-0 Sunday Live, and I'm delighted to say that we are joined by a load of usual suspects. Good evening, everybody. Hope we're all doing really well. Gaz joins us. Aaron's here as well. He's done his rudimentary little load-in. Brendan and Mike join us tonight as well. And Gaz, you are in the UK this evening for the first time on a 4-0 Sunday Live. How does it feel?
It's cold, that's for sure, but it's all right. Yeah, I'm currently in Bournemouth, just outside Bournemouth, down Dudsbury Golf Course Hotel and Spa. So yeah, it's a bit posher than my balcony from Malta. But yeah,
no fireworks.
It's nice to be here. Sorry, it's the beer. Nice to be here, ready for the Charlton game tomorrow.
Excellent. Thank you for the second, Gazaruni. Good evening to everyone who joins us across the stream as well. Good evening to Jake, who again hasn't quite made the cut, has he, Ben? But there we go. Ollie's in as well. Good evening to Dan Richardson. Hello to Dan as well. Joanne Charlton is a Charlton fan, so I don't know if that's his surname or he's just put that on there because he is a Charlton fan. Please lose tomorrow, let us win, says Daniel. I don't think that's going to happen, mate, unfortunately. Dylan has said that time of the week, so gas for tomorrow. Very much looking forward to it. Welcome along. And Nappa's mum joins us here live on the stream as well, which is great to see. And a very special guest who will join us very shortly is Jack from the Young Fan Podcast too. So loads to look forward to ahead of tonight's show. Aaron, welcome along, mate. Nice to see you back where you belong, in front of yours truly, the Fish Tank. How is everything? How's Mrs. Fish Tank? How's things?
Well, she's everything's well. She's a bit hungover. Went out for a few last night. A few ended up in a few more, and then just been dying all day on the sofa. Fish tank very, very low at the moment. Lost a lot of fish this week, but and it seems such a long time ago that we all spoke. It's feels like months. It's only been a week. It's been longer than a week because you didn't do a show last week. So yeah, but all good. My end. That's all right.
Good. Good to hear. Sorry we weren't around last week. It was partly because we only had one game to chat about, and then we had an hour to fill, and we didn't have anything to look forward to. And partly because I caught a little bit of an illness from Saturday last weekend. But we're all good now. As are Brendan and Mike, who join us live from the nearest to Fratton Park this evening, gents. So very well done to you. How are we both doing? Are we all good?
Yeah, all good, mate. Yeah, ready to row in. Looking forward to tomorrow night's match, and looking forward to the retrospective of the last week gone.
Yeah, and I've been away for the weekend. I've been up to Lichfield to see some friends, not family, some friends from one of my previous occupations, and spent a weekend up there and travelled back this afternoon. Looking forward to tomorrow night's televised game for us anyway.
For us anyway, I've heard that one before. Ben is here. Welcome, Ben. By no means least. He's last, but he's no means least. And he joins us to chat all things Fleetwood. He's also going to have a look at some of the League One results with us as well. How are you doing, mate? You are the furthest from Fratton Park this evening on the panel. How's your weekend been?
Good, but anything related to football, if I'm honest with you. But no, some big results in League One. You see, I think there's only one home victory, and that came Wickham against Peterborough. And, a lot of away results, as you can see there. Bristol Rovers winning 4-1, Wednesday winning 2-0. So, the big sides, getting good results away as well. Plymouth carrying on the good start as well. So it's been an interesting week in terms of League One, but, decent weekend and, looking forward to speaking about it. And also speaking about last week.
Good everyone. Good evening to everyone who joins us live in the chat as well. Andrew says, good evening from this, Andrew. Good evening to you too. Hello to Ashi Bashi, who says, I'm an Ipswich fan, but love your videos, so no hate at all. Well, you are one of the very few, Ashi, who's ever said anything remotely similar to those words from an Ipswich fan. So thank you very much. Richard says, hi to Tom and Ben. Lucas is expecting a big dub tomorrow. And Adam, who sadly cannot join us this evening, but will be joining us tomorrow night at the Valley, joins us too. Right. In that case, I think we better get into the football chat then. Gaz, we're going to cast our minds back to Tuesday night. We made the trip to Fratton Park. You made the slightly shorter one than I did. It was against the... oh, I heard myself then. What happened there? I think Aaron got the stream up and got a bit excited. I don't know. Well, it might have been Mike. Sorry, Aaron, didn't mean to accuse you. But, it was Mike. There we go. It was Mike. I thought it would be one of the two. Gaz, we made the trip to Fratton Park on Tuesday night. And I think Danny said it, even if it's against Tiddlywinks, we want to beat the scum. How did you see it?
Yeah, I mean, as I mentioned, I was gaffer of the day for the news. So I said, anything against the scummers, whether it's darts, beach volleyball, poker, any card game. It's always nice to support Pompey. And Tuesday was definitely, exactly what we predicted. We had a good crowd there, 2,000 fans at Fratton. I've not been in the Fratton end myself, and it was a spectacle. I've not seen the old girl looking so beautiful. It was all lit up nicely. Obviously, there was 200 scummers in the corner trying to make a bit of noise, but I think it was good to see for a strong team that he put out. Definitely some legs needed to play, especially with some games coming up. But yeah, the atmosphere was amazing. I really enjoyed it, and obviously the result, 5-2. It was nice to, for obviously people that work with, fellow scummers at the workplace, they had the bragging rights for once, because obviously the last time we played them, we didn't do too well at Fratton Park. So yeah, this time it's a Pompey. The South Coast is blue, shall we say?
Mike, I mean this with total respect. You've seen a lot more Pompey scum than we have, the rest of us here on the panel. And you've obviously seen us beat the scum on a number of more occasions than, particularly I speak for myself, than I have. It's always important, even if it's the kids with a couple of professionals chucked in and against their kids, always feels like one you want to win. And one we did really well at.
Yeah, I mean, you could go down the park on any day of the week on school holidays and see kids down there with Southampton shirts and Pompey shirts, and they never play on the same side. And even beating them down the park when they're kids, it's great to see it. I mean, the spirit for both sides. I mean, let's not be unkind to them totally. I mean, they have their followings, we have our followings, and it's always good to get your upper hand on your rivals. I have seen quite a few of them. I haven't been to any up their end of the woods, but I don't particularly want to give them any money out of my pocket by paying to get an entrance fee. But they're brilliant times, and it always means something to Pompey people.
Brendan, I know you weren't there, but I know you were following it from afar, and it was almost a nauseous moment, wasn't it, Gaz? When they got those 2 goals back in quick succession, you think, oh my word, no, not tonight, not after we've been doing so well so far, and so many. Let me try that again. So many shining lights for Pompey. I was really impressed with a number of our academy players. It's great to see Josh Dock get some minutes under his belt, and they had the fantastic moment for Kobe as well, right in front of that Fratton end, scoring his first goal in men's football. And I just thought that was fantastic for him, and nights to remember for some of our youngsters.
Definitely, yeah. It's always great to see that the young lads get on and do well. I remember Gary O'Neill making his debut for the club, and how a great moment that was. Even going on players like Matt Ritchie and Joel Ward and Marlon Pat getting his sort of like one and done in the Carling Cup back in his day. But it's always nice to beat the Scummers. And sort of Toby Motta did what all of us probably dreamed of at some point in our lives, to score in front of the Fratton end against the Scummers. And it's just that special moment for him. And seeing the photo of him with his dad after the game, arm in arm, and was brought a good feeling, I think, as well. And seen in the last cup match beforehand in the Papa John's Trophy with Harvey Laidlaw coming and playing for Pompey in professional football after his granddad played for Pompey as well. So these magical moments that we've seen throughout this year as well. And it's great. And a special shout out as well to Rico Hackett as well, because he's been getting a lot of stick this season and last season about only being 1 foot dominant, but he's proved why he should be in and around this starting lineup. Yes, it is Southampton's so-called C team, as their fans like to tell us on Twitter on every single post we made. But yeah, he really did, and should have got a hat-trick, I heard as well. He was unlucky not to score 3 or 4. But yeah, all in all, positive all round. Yes, conceding 2 goals. You don't want to concede to a 16-year-old, but hey, our 16-year-old scored against them as well.
Good for the future.
Absolutely, absolutely, and Kobe is definitely one for the future. We'll speak to Aaron and Ben about Fleetwood in a second, as we're going to cast our minds even further back in time to that game to have a little review of that. Before we do so, say hello to Joseph, who said glad to have 4-0 back. Glad to have you back with us as well, Joseph. Benny has said 4-0 on FIFA. What a Sunday evening. There you go. At least Benny's enjoying himself. Alex has said, cannot wait to see you and fellow 4-0 members tomorrow, a night to remember pending. And that is a little bit of reference to the poll that is currently running in the chat. And Dylan's also said, surprised you can remember given how gone you were, Gaz, when we came down and saw you at half time. Gaz had a few beers and he was enjoying himself very much. And that's another one to come as well. Can't wait for the collab with Big Jack Ward from Harris. Looking forward to that too. Before we get on to all of that, let's cast our minds back, as I just said, to Fleetwood. Ben, you were there, obviously, and this is the reason why it's not the only reason. We love your company, Ben, but it's the main reason why he's here to chat through everything this evening with us, all things Fleetwood Town. You said that you deserved a point to me a couple of nights ago, which I was a little bit like, oh, it's funny how people see things differently. But I've had a little bit of time to mellow over it, and I can see where you're coming from. Talk me through the day. Talk me through. I mean, you go down in the opening couple of minutes, and you're thinking, "Oh my word, here we go." Those are the kind of emotions, aren't they?
Yeah, it literally was. First 15 minutes, it was fireworks. If I'm honest with you, I think Paul's were unlucky not to be 4-0 up. And I said when you score through Chrome, it was a carbon copy against Plymouth. It's a really good strike, and you can do that. I do think sometimes you can go missing in games, but you can produce a moment of magic like that. And if you can do that now and again to earn your points, obviously that's earned you 2 points now. Then it might get you into the playoffs, or hopefully into the top 2 for your sake. And then obviously a couple of penalty appeals, and then we go down the other end, the blink of nothing, and we score a goal. And I was kind of in shock. And then after that, I thought you kind of reacted quite well to it. I thought the next 20 minutes after, where I think Lynch makes a good save. He should have a penalty in my eyes. But the referee was horrific. I'll get onto that in just a second. But after that, if I'm honest with you, I know the referee didn't help it, and it was stop-start. That suited Fleetwood. Now, you cannot go to Fratton Park and let them play like the Liverpool City game was just then. I thought Anthony Taylor refereed brilliantly to let the game go on as a neutral. That's what you want to see. If that was it, I think Portsmouth would have won that 5 and maybe 6-1. But the game kept stopping, benefiting us. And then I thought maybe with 20 minutes to go, if there was a side going on to nick the game, I thought it would be us. Because you weren't creating very little chances in my eyes. I think Rooney should stick one away at the far post. Joe Garner has an ambitious effort from just outside the box. But I don't think we deserve to win the game. But take the first 20 minutes out of it, I don't think we deserve to lose it either after the 2 goals. So I thought first 15 minutes, you probably should have been 4 or 5-1 up. After that, battle game. And, I said job done after that. You're not going to go to Fratton Park and make 500 passes. You're not going to go and have 25 shots. You're not going to go and play open, expansive football. You've got to go there. You've got to compete. You've got to literally win second balls. And you've got to be nasty. And in fairness to Fleetwood, I thought we were. But the one disappointing display, I think, was from the referee who, if it was a different referee, I think we might have seen a different game and a better game.
Aaron, you're looking at, thanks for that, Ben. I think that's a really fair analysis of what happened a week or so ago. Aaron, you're looking at that there, and Ben's mentioned you're not going to go to Fratton Park and play 500 passes. It's 162 from Fleetwood's point of view. And there's a lot more accurate from Pompey's point of view, and a lot more in terms of the figure as well. All the stats are in our favour. The main one at the top being that possession stat as well. A lot of blue on your screen there. Also expected goals and shots and the even corners. We won on corners, so big result there, as a not so wise man once said. How do you reflect on the Fleetwood game, Aaron? I know it was a little while ago. Was it a case of missing our chances? And Ben's mentioned it there, referee really stifling our play as well.
Yeah, like Ben said, all fair to him, he was very fair in his analysis there. First 20 minutes, we should have killed the game off straight away. With the passes, accuracy for both of them, both teams, the ref was diabolical. And you could have had more passes. We could have been like almost 400 passes, and Fleetwood could have been like 250. But the ref, with the stop-start, it's just, why are you doing it? And it affected our team because in the last 20 minutes, we had no idea what to do. Because of the stop-start, like Ben said, it helped out Fleetwood massively. But it just affected our team more. But yeah, the officials and that, I think they're getting worse. He's supposed to be a very experienced ref. But no, he didn't have a very good day. And it was frustrating for the fans as well. You could see that here with the fans as well. It's like, yeah, like, let's just get on with it. But we should have put the game to bed in the first 20, 25 minutes. But we just, yeah, it was just frustrating, really. But yeah, but fair play to Ben. Very good as well, yeah.
I had to chuck that in there just to measure things out. Thanks for that, Aaron. Gaz, what did you think watching it? I know you were you would have been watching the game.
Yeah.
What did you reckon? And I know we chatted about the referee performance already, but just a case of Pompey not taking their chances. And there's one particularly, there's two that stick out to me looking back. And there's the Morrison one where if he hits it anywhere else is in. And then the Owendale one that just hits over the crossbar when he's coming in on that header at speed. What are your reflections?
Yeah, I mean, the game itself, I mean, obviously we got the goal early, which was good. But the thing is, though, we didn't settle. We got a bit agitated, possibly with some refereeing decisions. And Fleetwood, to be fair, they did a little bit of a high press thing on us. So they were actually going for it a little bit more. And we didn't cope with them, really, get comfortable. That's why they scored within like 7 or 8 minutes. Once we scored, 7 or 8 minutes later, they're back in the game, 1-1. But yeah, the game, it just, stop, start. We didn't get into our rhythm. And we started some wayward passes and stuff like that. And again, Fleetwood exposed us a little bit at the back. They know that Connor's not a right back, and they know that Clark's not a left back. So again, they were using that their width on that side. I think that was our weakness really on the day. Very similar to Ipswich. Danny's he hasn't had his back four now that sees as a first 11 for a few games now. And maybe Fleetwood did their work a little bit because they got some joy along the flanks, and obviously they got the just deserved with the goal, and they kept going. So yeah, fair play to Fleetwood. It's a point earned, and we move on.
84 people join us across YouTube and Facebook this evening. A very good evening to you all. We're 20 minutes into an hour or so of live Pompey debate discussion. We're going to have a preview of the Charlton game in a short while as well. Loads of people getting involved in the discussion in the chat below as well. Dan said, you clearly watched the same game as me, Ben. We definitely lost our way in the last 20 minutes. Matt said, in my opinion, the last 20 minutes the players gave up because every time we went forward, we'd get pulled back for a foul or against us, and it was really frustrating to watch. And Jake has said, sometimes when an opposition goes and does a job on one of the bigger sides in League One, you just got to give them credit for stifling your attack, and notice how Ipswich fans are doing similar. So there we go. Brendan Mike, obviously Jake was in reference to his big win at Portman Road yesterday, which I think he'll still be really pleased with, and Ben's shaking his head because he's heard just as much about that as I have so far. Since it happened, since that full-time whistle went at Portman Road, he's been absolutely buzzing, and rightfully so, because it's a big win and it helps us out nicely as well. So thanks very much to Jake and the Lincoln boys for doing so. 20 minutes, we definitely lost our way, Brendan, that final period in the game. And Danny was talking about how we did just lose our edge. And I think also decision-making in the moment, and I think it's been reflected by a comment on there that we pulled back and we were kind of, I don't know, using the word gave up's a little bit of a strong one because I don't think this Danny Cowley side can give up. I just don't think it's in their makeup. But last 20 minutes definitely really fell away for us.
It did, yeah. You felt, I think the substitutions, I hate criticising Danny and Nicky and the guys. There was a concern about when to make the substitutions. I think Josh Koroma had blown up about 10 minutes before he did come off. That time where he went through and he was one-on-one with the defender, and he's got Scarlett coming in round as well, and he's trying to play the through ball to Scarlett and he's passed it straight to the defender, and you can see he was on tired legs. It just, And I think Owen Dale ran his socks off again. He was a bit late coming off. And these substitutions to bring the fresh legs on, obviously they need time as well to sort of bed into the game. Like when Curtis comes on, or you bring Rico Hackett on, or Piggott when he came on as well. They need a bit more time to sort of like bed in and, try and win the game for us. Sometimes, you throw someone on with 5 minutes left and they nick you a winner on the odd occasion. But when we bring on these attacking players, we really sort of need that bit more time in the legs. Obviously, there's methods to why they do it, which is understandable. They obviously see on the players' GPSs how far they've travelled in the pitch and how far they've gone before they can say, right, he's put enough in for the depth of the game, and we know this is his limit. And you can see that shot Marlon Pack had, which just hit the bar. It smashed off the bar, and it's like on another day that nestles in the top bin, and it's game over, and then you shut up shop there. One day this season, one of those shots are going to go in. You can just, if Felix, he's got the techers to do it.
Let's hope it's tomorrow. Mike, what would you say 3 major learnings to take from the Fleetwood game to put into practice for tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think we need to take more chances. We need to score more from our chances, shall I say. We need to put them in the back of the net, definitely. We do have the chances. I think Ben understands that we do have chances, but it only counts when they're in the back of the net. So, yes, we've got to make sure they count. Yeah, I agree with Brendan. We did discuss it at home. But talking about the substitutions, I think they should have come on. Each of them, each time they did a sub, at least 10 minutes beforehand. And sometimes players are not actually at the speed of the game, not just because they've not played. Mentally, I think sometimes they're not in the game when they come on the pitch. Are they paying total attention to what's going on the pitch and how they can see how it's going to improve? And I know they get a talk from Danny and from Nicky, but I think sometimes, they're eager to get on the game, get in the game and get on the pitch. But mentally in their heads, they need to be a bit brighter and a bit sharper, I think, not just because they're not so tired as the rest of them. And the other thing is, perhaps we need to be a bit more patient. Teams like Fleetwood and that, and Lincoln and that, they'll come to Fratton Park and they will slow the game down. Some of them do it absolutely terribly and deliberately, and it really is frustrating. And we even had the ref doing that, obviously, the other day. So we need to learn to be able to play with that situation and not let it wind us up too much. Get on, but counteract it in some way with our play. I'm not sure what the answer is, but we need to deal with that better to not get frustrated, to keep it together. Play as a team like we have been playing, and just get in there and try and work around it. I know it's hard, but we all hate time wasting. We all hate cheating. We all hate crap refs, and there's loads of them.
And on with that time wasting or the game management that the top sort of pundits are saying nowadays. Yeah, they call it this. Ben might remember last season when we drew 3-3 with you guys, didn't we? And I think there was a stat in that match that when we played Fleetwood, the second half, obviously you played 45 minutes a half. The ball was in play for 30 minutes. So all that the extra time there was through time. It might not been 30, it might have been 35 minutes, but there's a lot of time wasting in game management in that time. And fair play, if the referee ain't going to penalise you for it, crack on. Wickham did the same. Wickham's are the masters of it, and it just comes along with it. And it's difficult to play with, especially when we want to get on with it.
Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah,
but sometimes it's they come to Fratton Park to do things like that, to stop us playing our fluid football, to creative and dynamic. I call it dynamic football when we're going ahead with the ball as fast as we can and we score goals from it. If you stop us doing that, well, you're halfway to getting a draw or even a win.
Ben, you mentioned earlier on you kind of chat about the Koroma goal and you gave your view on the game as a whole, which I thought was really interesting to see from your point of view. That was obviously a fantastic strike. And I heard Danny speaking after the Plymouth game and he said, it's a trademark Koroma goal. I was like, what's he on about? But actually you can now see he loves cutting in on that right-hand side and just dispatching with his right boot. This is what I want you to talk us through. Is Josh Griffiths to fault here from your point of view in the away end?
It comes very quick, doesn't it? And you had a really good keeper last year.
I think we can spot you there, can't we, Ben? Are you up there somewhere?
Just up by the domino sign. I'm always looking around food somewhere. No, I think it came very quick. It was very scrambled, wasn't it? If I'm honest with you, I hate short corners, and I said it in my voice. I went short corners. I went, it's good though. It's good, and we scored from it. And it's like, so I think he maybe needs to get out a little bit quick and be a little bit braver. If I'm honest with you, and Danny Cowley likes using the word "be a little bit braver." So I think I'd be disappointed with that. I don't like singling goalkeepers out. I really don't. It's not something I like doing. But you could say maybe a better goalkeeper would have done it. Like Bazunu last year would probably have kept that out, and you win the game 1-0, or it's a different game and you go and score a couple more. But, I didn't care how the ball went in the back of the net. I was just more shot the ball was in the back of the net. We're 1-1, and all of a sudden we're back in it. It was a scrappy goal. I don't think you'll like conceding from a ball in, another free header. So I think the more case is that you've lost three balls, the first one, the second one, and the third one, and it's resulted in a goal and eventually cost you 2 points.
It did, and Ben's absolutely right, as he normally is, Gaz, with the kind of you wouldn't single him out, but also you can't not blame him. The reason why I asked you, Ben, is part of that. Your answer was going to form part of the discussion that we go on to have, because a lot in amongst the Pompey fan base at the minute there is a split opinion on Josh Griffiths between the sticks. And Gaz, I know we had a conversation earlier about this. What's your feeling right now with the goalkeeping situation? You were there for Ipswich with me, stood next to me when that I think it was the third one, if I'm right in saying. Third one, help me out, someone. It was, thank you. The third one, when it loops over the top, it's not a carbon copy, but it's very similar to the way we concede against Fleetwood. Are you a Josh Griffiths, not very happy with him, kind of camp member at the minute, or are you the other way around?
No, not at all. I think we've played teams where he's also had some concentration and kept us in the game. We were at Port Vale. Look at that save that he did last minute. It was almost down safe. He's a good keeper. It's the same fans. They're fickle a little bit, where they just try and single someone out, and they're on his back because he's made a mistake. That goal that Fleetwood scored, we didn't get close enough on that short corner. Midfield should have cut that out coming across. We've got defenders in the box that are watching that ball. We've got the height of Raggett. We've got the experience of Morrison. You can't single out a goalkeeper just because he hasn't come for it. Someone might have shouted already before. We can't hear everything in that box. For me, Griffiths is growing. Yeah, it was a bit of a, I know he's a young goalkeeper, but we've got to back him. The problem he has is the pedestal of Bazunu from last year. We've moved on now since that goalkeeper. If we had Bazunu this season with this squad that we've got, yes, would we be better? Of course we would, yeah, because Bazunu's a great goalkeeper. But you've got to give Griffiths some time. I say some timeline, but he's growing into the game. His distribution hasn't been 100%. All the time, but he's getting better. He's learning, and we've got to give him credit. He's getting behind, some criticism. He might watch it read it on social media, but for me, he's doing a good job.
Yeah, I think you're spot on with that, Gaz. And Alex is pleased with that as well. He said, Jesus Christ, Gaz talking some sense, which is what he so often does. At some point, hopefully, he manages to peel that big red live sticker off his forehead, but we'll try and deal with that as the night progresses. Dylan said, this is in reference to Griffiths, he's decent at shot stopping. His distribution is the worst I've seen this season out of any teams who've played, which is an interesting point. And actually, I hate to give him credit, Ben, and I know you do too, but Jake actually mentioned it to me when Griffiths arrived, because he played at Lincoln City not too long ago, and I think it may have been under Danny Cowley, or it may not have been, so I might be wrong on that. But I should come to what Mikey said as well. Can't blame Griffiths for last year's results. We only scored one goal from open play. Whole team is responsible, which is exactly what Gaz was getting to there. And Matt said, when we need Griffiths, he's there, but he does not realise the ball is quicker, and I think he can't really kick a ball. So there you go. So it's a little bit split, as you can see, Ben, which is why I asked the question, because some people are applauding his distribution, others saying he can't kick a ball, etc., etc. And I think what I was going to say was giving credit to Jake, and he said that he will make the mistake and he will bet himself into the team. And we're forgetting he's a young keeper, and as Gaz has said, the pedestal from Bazunu doesn't help. but that definitely forms part of the conversation that we're having about this evening. Let's move on for the time being. Aaron and Brendan, Mike, we'll come back to you on our Charlton preview in just a moment. I want to get Ben's final thoughts here, and I'm actually going to swap him over for me so that you can all see his beautiful face rather than mine. That League One table is really starting to take shape now, Ben, and I know you are a League One guru. Talk us through what you're seeing right now and how you're envisaging the next couple of weeks. Really crucial night for Pompey tomorrow night to lead us into our preview of Charlton.
It's huge, and you look at it, Bristol Rovers are 11th. They've won 3 on the spin. Gone to MK Dons in the week and won, and obviously went to Cheltenham and won, got a good result last weekend as well. And I said this on Wednesday to you, Tom, if you can win 3 games in a week, the table looks very differently. There's doubled the points tally. It's a huge result. Like Derby go away and win by 3 goals. So Accrington missed 2 penalties. So it is their luck finally in. It's a brilliant, brilliant result. Again, you look at the top 4. I still think it is those top 4 and another 2 that will get in. Peterborough again lost away from home. I think they've lost 5 of the first 7 away from home. And it's not brilliant because I don't think they're taking on the good side, if I'm honest with you. I know they were okay at Fratton Park, but they lost the game. They went to Wickham yesterday and lost the game. So for me, Barnsley, I think that's a decent point for them. Again, a couple of, a tough kind of 4 or 5 days for them after going on a good run. It's a good point away at Bolton, who again responded really well. Shrewsbury getting another great result yesterday. That for me, I think their midfield of Bayliss and Jordan Shipley, Luke Leahy looks really good. And for me, I think it's one of the best in this level. And then you look at the bottom of the league as well. It's really close. Anyone could go down from anywhere in the league right now. Any of those in the top 12 at the moment could go down, could go on a poor run. And that's the best thing how far we are into the season. There's still lots of points to play for. I think there's nearly 100 points to play for every team. So it's like, there's a lot of games left. And I just want to see more drama and big results away from home like we saw with Lincoln yesterday.
Big results away from home. Are you alluding to a certain game at the Valley tomorrow night, Ben, perhaps?
I say nothing now. Yeah. Hopefully, it'll be a statement. I think for me, I think Charlton are a draw specialist, and I think that they'll try and drag you down to their level where it's not great football. Let's be honest, but if you can get at them early and get an early goal, I think it changes the whole complexion of the football game. Get it down, play like you do, and carry on that way as well. Hopefully, the referee lets the game flows. I think that's going to be beneficial. I think it'll suit you. A very wide pitch, Charlton, as well, that you can use your wingers, use your midfield, get the game open. Type of game that Marlon Park, Joe Morrell can spread passes about and feed through the front two. So I think Portsmouth will go tomorrow and get a positive result. And by that, I mean win the game. I don't think a draw is a positive result for anymore with Portsmouth. I think maybe last year, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, it's like, well, we'll go to the Valley for a point. This year, the only result away, maybe the odd point away at the Ipswiches or the Plymouth are considered a good result anymore. Every other game, realistically, is this level, you want to win.
Ben, score?
2-0 Portsmouth.
We like that. Brendan's very happy with that. Mate, thanks so much for spending the last half hour with us chatting through Fleetwood. We'll say goodbye to Ben, and we look forward to it. We're not just going to have Ben on for the next time we play Fleetwood, by the way, everybody. We'll have Ben on a lot more in the future as and when we have some big League One weekends, and we need a neutral yet. I know slightly Pompey, little bit of a Pompey reflection coming off that Fleetwood badge there, Ben. So that's he's given nothing away by the facials. Thanks very much, mate. We'll see you soon.
Mate. All the best, guys.
Good luck for the rest of the season, mate.
Ben leaves us, and Jack will join us very shortly as he is coming with us to the Valley tomorrow night. Let's take a very brief look then at what we've got coming up for us. We're about to chat about our Monday night game at the Valley. Next weekend, we're on the road again. This time it's a journey to Forest Green. Following that, it's a week of back-to-back games at Fratton. Oxford United make the short trip down to Fratton Park on Tuesday the 25th, and Shrewsbury the following weekend. And more Papa John's paper action, this time against AFC Wimbledon. Will then be followed by a long trip to Morecambe. Brendan and I will be in deepest, darkest Lancashire for that one. Very much looking forward to that. That's all followed by a bit of a change to the original billing, with Derby and Wickham both being rescheduled for strange times. But I'm sure we'll get to chat about that a little bit later on. Good evening, Jack. How are you, mate? Nice to see you.
I'm not bad, mate. I'm not bad. Thanks for having me on. How are we doing, guys? We're okay.
We're all
good.
good. We're all loving it. But before we go to what we've got a little bit of a chat with Marcus Ali, who's from Football League World. He's a Charlton fan. He's going to give us the opposition preview. But I think it might be interesting to get a neutral view to begin with, Jack. This is going to be I don't know if it's going to be the first time ever in a Pompey away end for you. Am I right in saying that? Maybe
it's the first time. I don't know why I'm going, Tom. I don't know why I'm going. No, I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be an experience. Hopefully we get a good game of football. That's what we all want. For the people I'm surrounding myself with, I'm sure they'll be hoping that they get the 3 points as well. But it won't be easy. We know Charlton, the quality that they've got. But I'm looking forward to it. It is the first time I'm going to be in the Pompey away end.
There's a lot of love for you, mate, by the way. Thomas and we've got Harris is in here. Jake's here as well.
He's told his cousins, didn't he? Got his cousins in the chat.
Yeah, I've got a lot of siblings.
He's got a lot of siblings and a lot of admirers as well, which is good to see.
He's been putting it about, has he?
So your first time in a Pompey away end, Jack. I know expectations are going to be high. You've done a lot of analysis on us so far. We've spoken at length, both off and on camera, about this Pompey side at the moment. How excited can we be heading into this one, and how excited are you to be there tomorrow night?
I'm excited. I think we're going to get, hopefully, a really good game of football. These are two sides that really need to win this game for different reasons. I think Charlton will be a little bit underwhelmed by their start to the season. They've picked up some good points in recent weeks. I was there. I should get a Valley membership card. I was there on last Tuesday against Exeter when they faced Exeter. They won that game 4-2. I thought that slightly flattered them a little bit. I thought Exeter did play well at moments. They took a 2-goal lead, Charlton, in the game. And as for Pompey, like you say, we have spoken in length. I've enjoyed speaking to you in length about Portsmouth, but this will be the first time I watched them for a 90-minute game of football. We haven't played you yet, thankfully. Yeah, it's going to be hopefully a really good evening. I expect a really good game of football. These are two sides, like I say, and Pompey for different reasons. They need to win this game. They haven't won a game in the last 3. You can see the gap is I mean, you've got games at hand, but you can see that gap slowly getting bigger and bigger. Danny Cowley, the players, and yourselves, you'll know the importance of not falling behind. So a win's going to be really important. Will you get that win? It won't be easy, but we'll have to wait and see. But I'm really looking forward to it.
Good evening to Rebecca Taylor, who joins us live tonight. She said, really enjoying tonight. Thank you, guys. It is great to be back on your screens. We're going to get to the Pompey side of the panel in just a moment on our thoughts ahead of Charlton. Before we do so, I had a chat to Marcus Ali during the week. He is a sports writer and journalist for Football League World. First and foremost, a Charlton fan. And he, at the time, he was a very jubilant Charlton fan because they'd just come off the game that Jack's just been talking about. Really interesting conversation, this, actually. So I think it's really worth a little listening ahead of almost 24 hours to go now. 24 hours and 22 minutes until kickoff. We're all getting excited. And here's how the opposition are viewing the upcoming game at the Valley. Marcus, nice to speak to you, mate. Thank you for spending a little bit of time with me ahead of what is a real crunch game in League One on Monday night, the Monday Night Football, as you could say. Tell me a bit about midweek, obviously. Big win for you. You told me it was a relief. What's that done to the mood around the Valley at the moment?
Well, it definitely lifts some of the pressure off of Ben Garner's shoulders. I'm involved in the section of the fan base that thinks that he definitely deserves more time, despite the poor start. At this stage, it's 3 wins, 7 draws, and 3 losses. So hard to pass a very sort of categoric judgment on how he started. But if we didn't beat Exeter in midweek, it would have been 9 games without a win, with just 2 points above the relegation zone going into that match as well. So there definitely would have been some friction from the stands. So it takes some pressure off of his shoulders there. Hopefully we'll build some confidence within the squad. Obviously, to score 4 goals is particularly pleasing. And it does feel like there have been some players playing below their typical level, potentially could point towards confidence and the morale of the group for that. So yeah, a huge relief to get that one out of the way. And especially with tough opposition like Portsmouth coming on Monday, it was important to get the 3 points and start looking in the right direction again.
Against a good opposition as well in Exeter City, let's not forget. How do you reflect on the last few games against Pompey? Obviously, we had the 2-1 win for you boys at our place and the coining of the chant, we always win at Fratton Park, which is something we're going to try and get rid of this season, I'm sure, when you come down to the South Coast. And then obviously that 2-2 draw at your place last season. It's always a good watch, this one, isn't it?
Yeah, that's my main feeling. It's typically an exciting game. I thought, even though Charlton in the end probably deserved the 2-1 win at Fratton Park last season. I thought it was Pompey had opportunities to really take the lead and make it a completely different game before we were able to sort of take a stranglehold. Obviously, the table would suggest that it's less evenly matched than I think personnel-wise it probably is. I think Cowley's probably got a lot more out of sort of similar level squads at the start of this season, potentially lean towards Pompey in the final third for sure. So yeah, I'm expecting goals again. Charlton have been very unreliable at the back. It's just 2 clean sheets from 13 games. And even one of those clean sheets was very, very unconvincing in a 1-0 win against Derby. So I think in that respect, Pompey could have a lot of joy. But yeah, even when Charlton were playing very, very poorly at the start of last season under Nigel Adkins, managed to produce an exciting 2-2 draw at the Valley. So no, yeah, I'm expecting more of the same. I think Pompey, the more direct side than Charlton, being a lot more slow and patient with their build-up at the moment. But yeah, it's going to be interesting clash of styles, potentially 4-4-2 versus 4-4-2 as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Lots to like about your Charlton side. You've been chatting about it there. Obviously slow on the build-up, and that would explain the high possession stats that you've got so far this season. I mentioned just before we started, always a threat at the back post, lots of wide play, quick on the break. Is that the kind of thing that you reckon will be on display on tomorrow night?
Yeah, I think they'll look to exploit the wide areas as much as possible. I think one strong area of the pitch that has really stood out this season in general would be the wide forwards, the likes of Charlie Kirk, Corey Blackett-Taylor, and in particular Jez Rak-Sakyi coming in on loan from Crystal Palace. I think particularly with Pompey having something of makeshift fullbacks at the moment, I do potentially look at that matchup if Clark Robertson's going to play at left back. Him against Jez Rak-Sakyi on the right, cutting onto his left foot, and that partnerships that has been developing as well, more so since we switched to a 4-4-2 with Mandela Egbo bombing on from right back. He's a very attack-minded player in that position, sort of building a relationship with Rak-Sakyi down that side. So I think that's potentially an area that Charlton will look to get at. Although we have had a lot of the ball, a lot of it hasn't been very dangerous in dangerous areas. It has been a lot of sideways, a lot of build up in your own half. Of course, you come up against a lot of sides that are happy to just sit behind that and play on the counter. I don't think Pompey will be as far that way as some sides lower down the table that Charlton have played in the last month or so. But I think the wide areas is an area of strength for Charlton, particularly if they can get some balls in the box with the presence of Jayden Stockley and potentially some exciting players around him. Chuck Sanike came back in midweek. Only came on in the 82nd minute. It was his first appearance of the season. So whether he'll be fit enough to start or to potentially play a large portion of the game sort of remains to be seen. But I think that's a player that definitely elevates the level of the players around him and would definitely give the fans a lift if he's able to contribute. I am extremely concerned about the defence, to be honest. I have been all season. I have when we were building a squad for League One. We've seen, there's been both teams scoring in I think all but 3 Charlton games so far this season, 10 of 13. We can't defend. Not to not go into too much detail on it. We've got Ryan Innes and Owen O'Connell at centre back. Owen O'Connell, a player who was signed mainly for his ball playing responsibilities and ability compared to the other players you've got in that back line. Ryan Innes runs very hot and cold in League One, can have a couple of blinders and then produce a very rash performance. So I do think that will limit how high up the table we're able to finish this season. Joe Wallacott has had some impressive displays in goal, but once again, potentially I would lean on his strengths being in terms of compared to other goalkeepers at the level in his distribution rather than his shot-stopping ability. Mm-hmm. Going into the season, I picked 12th as to where we'd finish, and I do think that's about par for the squad that Garner's got at his disposal. He was left really frustrated at the end of the transfer window. There's certain areas of the pitch that we're just very understaffed on. One of those is in the striker position, which of course is so important. A left back, we've got Stephen Sessegnon on loan from Fulham, but he's quite injury prone. He's right-footed as well. So I'd argue we don't have a specialist left back at the club, to be honest. Wow. And yeah, in terms of direction we're heading in, Thomas Sandgaard has said in the last month or so, the owner, that he's looking to break even in League One, which is, of course, very difficult if you're going to be competitive towards the top end. And in order to achieve that, he's not looking to spend any money on transfer fees for the rest of this season and the whole of next season. So in terms of hopes and ambition, that doesn't give you a lot. as a Charlton fan. In terms of the project with Ghana representing a completely new brand of football, is something that I support, sort of building an identity, which is something that we haven't had for a very long time. But for me, this season, I'd be happy for him to sort of hit par with mid-table. There are some exciting players in the squad, a lot of them with their best years ahead of them. So for me, if there's going to be any promotion expectation or excitement, it's all sort of building towards next season for me.
And you've already mentioned Blackett-Taylor and Charlie Kirk and Raksaki and the players to be looking out for. Flip the question round. 3 Pompey players that you'd name as ones that your boys are going to need to be keeping their eye on tomorrow night. What would you say?
Bishop has caused us a lot of problems over the years, even in his Accrington days. So be an exciting physical battle there. I think Ryan Innes against Colby Bishop is maybe a sort of key duel. Innes does back himself in the air. He's usually up there for sort of aerial duel win percentage for defenders, but Bishop is amongst the toughest physical threats I think you're going to come up against in League One. I was excited to see Tommy Lowry, but of course he's been missing the last few weeks. Really easy on the eye player for League One level. So I'm disappointed not to be seen.
You might still see him. You might still see him. He's back in training this week, so you might see him.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I do hope he keeps away. I do think Joe Morell's maybe a slight downgrade in that position. Obviously, Dane Scarlett's an exciting player at only 18, potentially one. It is defensively that I really fear. Michael Morrison will get a very warm welcome back to the Valley. One of the best defenders I've seen in a Charlton shirt since the Premier League, probably. So yeah, he'll definitely get a warm reception. But Bishop is the standout one for me that I'm a little bit worried about. Obviously, you've got those dangerous players in the wide areas as well, in Dale and Karoma, players that were playing in the Championship last season. So there's plenty of threats for Pompey. But I think Bishop is the one that they'll be worrying about in training, and sort of the way he can occupy our defence and create space for your other exciting attacking players. I think that if we can keep Bishop quiet, then we might go quite a long way to hopefully getting a foothold in the game at least.
What we thinking score-wise?
Yeah, I'm in an R over this. I do think there'll be goals. I'm going to go for a carbon copy of last season, another 2-2 draw. I think maybe Pompey taking the lead twice again and Charlton sort of clawing their way back. I just think that the win in midweek gives them so much more confidence. I almost definitely would have predicted a loss had we not won in midweek. But yeah, I think that'll help the morale of the group significantly. Also welcoming Chuck Sanike back as well does give Charlton a bit more of a threat potentially later on in games as well. So I'm going to go for another 2-2 draw just like last season.
And I'm sure lots of people will be watching this thinking, oh, where can I hear more of Marcus? Where can they find your stuff, mate? Where's the place to be?
So I write for footballleagueworld.co.uk. Not all Charlton stuff, just general EFL content. Also on Football League World TV YouTube channel, quite a lot on a weekly basis. So yeah, if you want to hear more from me, you can check those out.
Really enjoyable chat with Marcus, I thought. I think that was really interesting to hear what he had to say. And it's always great as well to hear opposition fans praising your team ahead of a really crunch game as well, which is great to hear. Important to point in the direction of the full chat with Marcus, who's going to be live on the channel very soon. We chatted about Craig McGilvery and how he's fallen out of favour too. So if you have a moment before tomorrow night, have a little look on our channels, our social channels, and you might be able to find it. Yeah, it's really important that we win this game. I think we all know that, and that's kind of a bit of an easy thing to say, isn't it? But given the last couple of weeks, a little bit of a dip since there's been some injury problems at the back, this one's a really crucial one, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, let's hope Danny, has had a good week this week on the training pitch, and he's got the boys fired up for Monday. Obviously, it's going to be on the telly. We don't play that well on the telly when we're playing live, so it's going to be a good occasion. So long as we make a good account of ourselves. They've done a lot of draws, Charlton, this season. So like 1 win in 6 or 7, like the gentleman said there. So yeah, I'm confident for tomorrow. I'm going in, with a good score. That's for sure.
Well, we'll wait for the score, Gaz. We'll keep everyone waiting on that one.
Yeah.
We'll do that a little bit later on. Brendan, Mike, I know Marcus mentioned some of the quality that Charlton had, and with all respect to them, because we know that they've got some really good players, twinned with the fact that they've got that unbeaten home record so far in League One as well, which, although they're not in the upper echelons of the table quite at the moment, still very dangerous looking at it. Anticipating a really tough evening that we'd be really grateful to be on the right side of, Brendan.
Yeah, definitely. They have been. They said they've been undefeated at home, but as our undefeated streak came to an end, it's about time their undefeated streak came to an end, in my personal opinion. And as we know, old faces come back to haunt us. Jaden Stockley's played nearly every game for them this season, so he's another man to look out for. Will be a handful for our centre half, either Raggett or Morrison, whoever gets given the job to look after him and keep him quiet. And yeah, you never. But this time is the difference. I think massive difference is that Marquis isn't playing up front for us now. We've got Colby Bishop and Dane Scarlett, so there's no hit in the post from 6 yards, hopefully tomorrow night, and we'll put him in the back of the net instead.
Mike, how you feeling?
Yeah, we whilst the guy was chatting just then from Charlton, we were looking at their two strikers. Well, one of them's just gone out. Their top scorer, he can't play for them. He's going to be out for a few weeks with his ankle injury, and he's their top scorer with 4 goals. Now, that's not particularly brilliant. And old Stockley, he's played, as Brendan said, lots of minutes this season. He scored 2 goals, one of them being a penalty. So he's played how many? Was it 12 games?
Yeah, all of them except for one.
All of the games except for one, and he's only put one in the back of the net from was it open play? Could have been a set ball. I'm not sure, but certainly the other one was a penalty. Yeah, he's a handful. Yeah, he'll antagonise them. He'll wind the boys up. But they've got to keep their cool. Raggett will do, and I'm sure Clark and Morrison will as well. Yeah, I think. Hopefully, we'll have too much going forward for them. They're going to be worried about what we're doing, I think, more than us worrying about them.
Last time we played a team that is with quality on the break, Aaron, partial to the wide play, was Ipswich at Palmer Road, which me and you were both there for. Would love to think that we'd be back to full strength with Tom Lowry and Joe Rafferty. If we're not, how do you set up Danny's team?
It is difficult because at the moment, I think Danny's got the curse of manager of the month, because since he actually got that award, we've been playing rubbish, and it happens all the time to other teams and everything as well. What he needs to do, really, Danny and Nicky, is get a team on the pitch and play like we have been at the first few games, the first 6 games of the season. We got the intensity there, we got the passion. It just seems to have faded away. Got to play Pack. He's our talisman at the moment. But there's got to be more communication. They've got to take the first balls, opportunities, and every time we actually go for goal, we've got to put that ball in the back of the net. Because if we waste the opportunities, then it's going to come back and bite us. Because I would love to say like we're going to absolutely annihilate them, but no game in this league is easy. Just look at Fleetwood last week. It was it was one on paper that we should have won, but we didn't. So you've got to take it game by game, and then just make sure that we put our chances away and don't give anything to them. It's going to be a hard game, especially in front of all the cameras and everything as well. But yeah, if we can go out there, I know he wants to play 4-4-2, but I think come the second half, he might change out and play a 3-5-2.
Oh, interesting. Maybe Aaron's a little bit more in the know than some of us might otherwise think. Jamie's very kindly donated £5, so I look forward to going to another away game tomorrow at Charlton. Hopefully come away with a win. Jamie, that'll pay for Gaz's refreshments on the way up on the journey to Charlton. So there you go. Really great to see so many people getting involved in the conversation. Dan said Swanson right, Ogilvie left, please. And Dylan said Joe Rafferty needed his Ogilvie right back and Robertson left back. He's a no considering how poor Rafferty was at the start of the season. Now he's a key player for us that we didn't know we needed. We're going to come back to that conversation in a moment. Pompey and it Mush has said even Freeman at right back never really lets us down. And Dan said defo need to start Swanson at right back. Jack, I know you're a stats man and you love a good stat. So here's some stats. I've tried to pick out the ones that Pompey and Charlton can be put in the same kind of bracket with. Expect a lot of goals at the Valley, I would have said. I know that Charlton aren't right up there in the upper sort of tiers of the goals per match, and no surprise that it's Ipswich and Pompey leading the way. Expected goals, not quite mid-table, but also not hitting the heights either. And then shots on target is kind of middle of the range as well. You notice that Ipswich are top of every single tier on that particular graphic. With that in mind, expecting a lot of goals, but your general feel for tomorrow night, Jack, and how you see it going?
Like I said, I really am looking forward to it. I think it's going to be quite a tactical game as well. I think we're going to get caught up in the fact that these, like you look at the screen there, the goals are there. Charlton, I think the way they've changed their style of play under Ben Garner, he wants them to score more goals. Last season, their football was really, really bad. If you ask Charlton fans last season, where was their biggest downfall? It was the fact that their football wasn't good enough. They really struggled to create chances. They didn't have very good output at all. And generally, their football was dire. Ben Garner is a manager that came in from Swindon, and he absolutely surprised everybody in League Two last season. The way that he got Swindon playing with a lot of these now Charlton players was really, really impressive. Jack Payne, of course, last season was a real creator. He's now at Charlton. He scored against Exeter on Tuesday night. You've got other players. Woolacott, the goalkeeper, again, he's a ball playing goalkeeper. He's going to try and push that. He's going to play with quite a high line. That's what he's going to try and do. Now, can Portsmouth deal with that high line? I think they can. They've got Dane Scarlett that's going to try and get in behind. The 4-4-2 is going to be really interesting. I think we've already spoken about it in the show. Lee Burnout is absolutely massive for Pompey, and it's a massive blow for Charlton. They play a 4-4-2, and really that has been so effective for them. That 4-4-2 of Stockley and Leeburn up front has been exceptional. Now Leeburn isn't in that 4-4-2, and he isn't that secondary striker to Jayden Stockley. How do you approach the game? I'm not entirely sure. They've got other strikers that can play in there. He might go back to the 4-3-3. It's a formation that did work under with his time at Swindon. But that 4-4-2 allowed them to play Leeburn and Stockley, quite physical presence up front. Leeburn a little bit more in behind, Stockley trying to hold the ball, and that worked. That changes completely tomorrow night. That changes completely because I think you've got Dane Scarlett and Colby Bishop. For me, that's going to be the test for the defenders, as it will be for most football clubs in this league. Dane Scarlett's going to try and get in behind of that quite high line that Charlton are going to try and play. They might not. They might actually realise that probably isn't the best way to play. They might drop back. As soon as you start doing that, though, it's going to be really interesting to see how Portsmouth attack. And then you've got to worry about the break. And that'll be where Pompey have got to be really, really careful because Raksaki is somebody that's already been mentioned. He's going to be really, really up for this game. He's going to be firing. He's going to be quick. He's great on the ball. He's going to possess the pace that we know they've got. Charlie Kirk on the other side. For me, it's really, really fascinating on a tactical level. And hopefully, if we can get past that sort of tactical perspective of it, it's going to bring a really good game of football as well, because both sides have got a really, really good set of players. And this game really could go either way. It's a cliche in football. I talk about it all the time. I can do predictions until, forever. But I honestly don't know how this game is going to go. I'm sure you're going to ask me for my prediction, and I've got about 5 minutes to work it out. I think it's going to be really, really tough. And I think, the battle of the 4-4-2, or maybe not. Now Leeburn is out for Charlton.
I was going to ask you for the prediction. We'll get to that a little bit later on. But anyone else notice the use of the personalised pronoun we there? I think Jack might be on the turn a little bit. We'll see.
I didn't realise I'm going to.
It's a lovely road. It's a lovely road, that A34. I've travelled down it today and I went up on Friday, but it's a nice quick road if you're ever coming to Pompey.
Absolutely.
Don't worry, we'll be Exeter now, so I'm gonna have to pretend like I'm back at Oxford, aren't
I? He's got to try and get his cover story, get his ducks in a row. And Dylan has said, Tom, if we beat Charlton, I'm giving you a big kiss on the head at Forest Green. Try not to sound as weird as possible, Dylan. I'll be appreciating that massively, mate. Don't you worry.
If he can't kiss over me, Tom, he'll give you a kiss, eh?
Oh yeah, that's it. I'm second best, mate. Second best as always. Gaz, we had a conversation actually earlier on today, and if you're not aware, Gaz is in the UK this weekend, everybody, to the people that might be joining us a little bit later on the stream. We spoke about the matchup of the 4-4-2. We also spoke about that back four situation. You've obviously got the youthful Swanson, and you've got him as an option on the bench at the moment. And Danny's obviously he's trying and testing him with the scum game at Fratton Park. You know, I thought he was a really shining light and did his duties incredibly well. And I know you were there to watch it as well. The worry for me would be is he going to trust him for 90 minutes? The answer is probably no to that question. What is your mind at the moment? I asked Aaron about it, and he gave us a really nice answer to it. How are you feeling at the moment? You were Danny Cowley. What's your back four looking like? Because the rest of the team, as Ben was saying a couple of weeks ago, is 6 attackers that pick itself.
Yeah, absolutely. And that game on Tuesday, I think Danny was tinkering on who he would like to have at right back, because we know that Connor's going to go better on the left. You know, we've seen the heat map. He already does. He's up and down. You know, he's going to be supporting Karoma better than he's going to. Well, he does it with Dale anyway. But I personally think, and it's only just a guess, but I think he could possibly play Freeman, at the back, only because obviously last season he's played already, for Pompey, and he's a bit more experienced and a bit obviously bit head, shoulders, etc. Swanson's a young guy, and it's a big game going in on Monday, and he's only had one appearance at the moment, I think, for Pompey. Young kid, so there's no reason why Freeman wouldn't start. Obviously, we know that Robertson isn't a left back, so that's going to be, Charlton might have done their homework, similar to what Ipswich did when that ball came across. It was getting caught out all the time. Now he's already alluded, the guest there, saying that they play, along the flanks. So, we know that we need to start shoring up a little bit on the flanks. So, yeah, for me, Freeman, and just see how we get on. He might play Freeman first half. He might play Swanson the second half. Who knows? I mean, Danny that's probably the only really hard decision he's got, because the rest of the team almost picks itself. So obviously with the injuries, yeah, we'd like to have Larry back, but we don't know. Rafferty, he's back at training, but we don't know how far he is with his coming back to training. But yeah, like Jack said, it's an exciting game tomorrow. Attacking, our midfield going forward, we can get people on the break. We've got the pace of Scarlett. Even like that ball that Pat can put through the middle, Scarlett can get behind that. Hopefully we can expose them. If they're going to play a high line, then we can expose them with our pace. So let's hope for a good spectacle tomorrow.
We're looking ahead at the next couple of games as well, and I spoke about it about half an hour ago, and we ran through what we've got coming up. Jack, there was a nice one there on the 25th of October, which we're going to try and move heaven and earth to get a meet-up organised for as well. I saw a tweet a little bit earlier on that was saying, how many points to the Derby game, etc., etc. If you were a Pompey fan, Jack, and we've had a little bit of a glimpse of what the kind of things you'd be saying if you were earlier on, but what would you be hoping to be getting out of those games at this moment in time? You've got a couple of ones that you reckon you would probably win. Are there any? There aren't many. I know this is kind of from a Pompey fan, so take it with a bit of salt, but there aren't many that you look like out-and-out losses for Pompey. Looking at it on paper, I know games turn out very differently. How many points forget the Wycombe one for the moment, to the end of November? How are you feeling?
I think this could be taken, hopefully is taken the right way. I think the game tomorrow is the hardest game until Derby. Personally, I think Forest Green away, to be honest with you, at the moment, the way that they beat, they won their last game, completely forgotten. That's really embarrassing. Who they beat? Bolton Wanderers. They won 1-0 a few weeks ago. Was it last weekend? They took their chance. They held really strong. That's not going to be an easy game. I think you've got the quality to get through it. Oxford, yeah, we'll come on to that in June. That could go either way. Oxford hopefully will be able to beat Peterborough, get something from that game, and then again that completely does change the way that we look at that one. Shrewsbury at home. Shrewsbury aren't going to be an easy side whatsoever. They're doing really well at the moment. I think they're joint on points with Bolton, who are in that top six. Only goal difference separates themselves from the playoffs. Wimbledon, of course, is a cup competition. Morecambe away. That should be 3 points. They are really struggling, and that brings you up to the Derby game, which is of course going to be a challenge. But I would say, like I said right at the start, I think Charlton tomorrow night is going to be the most difficult game you play until Derby at the end of November.
We'll just go round the crew of Pompey fans very quickly, and then we've got a little bit of fun to end off the show, and then we'll get some score predictions, which I've spoken to Gaz a little bit about. I don't know if I mentioned it to Brendan. I definitely haven't mentioned it to Aaron because I wanted it to be a surprise with him. And Jack, this involves you as well, mate. I need your help with this in a minute. Before we do so, you're looking at those games there, Gaz. You're kind of thinking there's 18 points down to Derby, isn't there? So what do you think? You've got Charlton down to Derby, roughly out of 18. Where's your head at the minute?
Could be a draw here. I would say 18. I don't know whether I'm still on mute or what. You unmuted me now. 18 would be good, but I think there's going to possibly be a draw. There could be a banana skin in there. It all depends on injuries. There's going to be a lot of games between now and Derby. That's the problem we have. So it's all about keeping the players fit, fresh, and let's see what happens. Between now and Derby. But I'm saying I reckon probably anywhere between sort of 12 and 15. I'll be very happy.
Brad and Mike, 12, 15, sound about right?
Yeah, I'd say so. There's always, as you know, we're not Real Madrid. We're not going to win every single game, are we? So there are games that are going to be tough ones. As we said, the underrated one there, I think, is very much Shrewsbury. They're picking up results, and they are a tough thing to play against. We know Steve Cottrell's a very disciplined bloke, and he disciplines his teams and and he's a good manager. As we said, Morecambe, I hate saying it, but I think we might blow him away. I don't want to say we're going to smash teams, but I think that's the one team that we might get a nice 4-0 on.
That'd be lovely after that journey, wouldn't it?
It'd be beautiful, mate. Absolutely beautiful. It's going to be tough. Yeah, I'll take 15 to 18 points in there, definitely. I know it's going to be, might get a couple of draws in there, but that we need to pick up as many points as possible. Need to get these games in hand and try and catch up with the ones that we've sort of fallen behind with.
Yeah, I go along with most of the comments that have been made about the upcoming fixtures to the end of November. I think, 12 to 15. But yeah, I mean, I never thought we'd draw against Fleetwood. I thought we'd have got the 3 points. So a couple of those could actually turn into draws. I don't want them to be draws. Obviously, we all want them to win. But it can be optimistic. But let's stick with it. 12 to 15 points.
I think we should all. I don't any fans who aren't fans of Pompey, and we've got one who joins us on the panel that's given us a really great view so far, and a nice kind of. It's nice to step back, and I really enjoy having Jack and Ben on because it can kind of bring us all down to our level a little bit, because I think we get a bit excited about Pompey, don't we? But it's quite keen to make sure we do that. Aaron, I wanted to throw two things at you. Obviously, the 15th to 18th is 12 to 15 points is a key one, but also the importance of those games in hand. And if you're looking at it, and I spoke to Gaz about this earlier on, but at the moment, that's the scores. At the moment, you've got 3 games. Obviously, the next one's tomorrow night, so take that as you will. But that's a real opportunity to close that gap, isn't it, Aaron?
Oh, it's huge. I'd rather have the points on the board because them 3 games in hand, you've got to win. So it's all saying, we could be second if we win all these games on 31 points. But they're not going to be easy. Everyone wants to beat Portsmouth, like we want to beat everyone else. But it's not going to be a walk in the park. I think Oxford is going to be a very tricky game for us. Seeing their results over the last couple of weeks, and there just seems to be something there with Oxford. So I think that's going to be our banana skin. But like the lads said, 12 to 15 points, I think 14 points. I would love to have 18. Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I think 14 points is realistic. But them games in hand, we need to win them. But it's going to be tough. It will be tough.
Brennan?
Just I remember last year when we had Oxford at home, and that day I was on holiday. I went down to New Forest for a little bit of a 4-day break with my missus and her friends, and I come back especially for the Pompey game, and then went back in the evening. And obviously Oxford took the lead within the first 2 minutes, and one of their fans threw the pyro on the pitch, and then obviously he wasted that because we ended up winning 3-1. So it's going to be that Hayden Carter shot from downtown, as they would say in basketball. But exciting times. It's going to be. I love bringing up my memories, but yeah, it's going to be a good run in and exciting. It's an exciting time at Pompey, just to bring the mood back up again. It's exciting, and I feel we're going to play positively.
Right. Thank you very much indeed. Pompey and Nick Musher said, that's why we love this show, Tom. Away fans' views. 3 very sensible ones tonight. Well, Marcus, Jack, and Ben, full credit to you all for sharing those views, and very grateful for you for coming on. Right, you may have noticed this is our 10th 4-0 Sunday Live of the season. We have done 10 sets of just over an hour's shows. There's an awful lot of 4-0 written all over it, and 4-0 Sunday Live for you to go back and get your teeth into if you have the time or inclination to do it. What I thought we'd do is a little bit of fun, and it's to celebrate hitting 10 shows. I thought we'd give each of the crew members on the panel, barring Jack, because Jack's going to help me with the adjudication, 10 questions all about Pompey. And the winner, here's the great prize. The winner gets a week off 4-0 Sunday Live next weekend. Now, that's either a prize or a punishment, so depending on your perspective. But Jack's going to do the numbers. So if you've got a pen there, mate, just make 3 columns. You've got Gaz, Brendan and Mike are going to be a team, and then we've got Aaron as well. So you got a team. So Brendan and Mike can confer. Aaron, if Mrs. Fish Tank's around, you're more than welcome to confer with her. And then Gaz, I'm afraid you're all on your own, mate. But we can try and confer over this sort of 5 miles that we are. But we shall see. Jack,
Aaron, get Reese out of bed.
Yeah,
Aaron,
we've
get
got
me
Gaz,
to our
Aaron,
bed.
Brendan, and Mike. Is that right? Yeah, 3 teams.
Brendan and Mike, Gaz, and Aaron and the teams. And you're more
Amazing.
than welcome to play along at home as well. If you think you know your Pompey, then get yourselves ready. Fingers at the ready in the chat. Right, we're going to start with Mr. Guinness. The pressure is on. We're going full screen for this as well. Gaz, are you ready to go?
Got a few beers today, but we'll go for it.
You ready?
Excuses.
Yeah.
Right, I'll have absolute silence in the broadcast studio, and I don't need to say silence in the chat because no one else is going to be talking. Jack's got his pen at the ready. Gaz, here we go. Right, question number 1. Who lifted the FA Cup first for Pompey in 2008?
Sol Campbell, wasn't it?
Correct. Which division were Pompey founding members of?
What division? Found a member. So Division 3.
Oh, 3rd division. I'll take that. Correct. What colour are Pompey's current 3rd kit socks?
Socks. The socks. Oh, is it? They're black.
Oh, mint.
Oh, mint ones. Oh.
Which club did Jay Mingy start his playing career at? There's a big clue in there. You use your brain on this one.
Jay Mingy. Swansea.
Charlton. Which
two
clubs hold the current record for the highest attendance at Wembley for an FA Cup final?
Oh, it's Pompey Sunderland, isn't it? Oh no, it's
no. It's all right. We'll give you that one. We knew what you were going to say. We'll give him that one.
Yeah.
Pompey Cardiff. Which current Pompey co-commentator famously scored 42 goals in a single league season for the club in the 92-93 season?
Guy Whittingham.
Correct. Question 7. Who was the last goalkeeper to win Pompey Player of the Season?
David James.
Craig McGilvery. Number 8. At which ground did Pompey begin the current League One season in a thrilling 3-3 draw?
Hillsborough.
No, correct. Number 9. How many teams are currently above Pompey in the League One table?
3.
4. Number 10. Sean North was appointed Pompey's kit manager after the departure of which long-term servant to the football club?
Mr. Kev.
Mr. Kev, correct.
Or Sir Kev.
That was good. That was good, Gaz. That was good. That was really good. Jack, how many?
6, was it?
I got 6.
You got 6.
Not bad, eh?
We'll take that. Aaron, you ready?
Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's have a look. Before we go to Aaron, the tension's building. I tried to put some easy ones in there and I tried to put some challenging ones. There's a mix of challenge and then middle of the road ones as well. So there's a little bit of a mix. Jack, pen at the ready. Aaron, you get your brain working, mate. Here we go. Question number 1. In which year did Pompey beat Sunderland at Wembley to win the EFL Trophy final?
2017.
2019. Which date in April of 1898 was Pompey founded? Date.
Sorry?
Date in April.
April. 10th.
Oh, it was the 5th. Question number 3.
Yeah.
Who sponsored Pompey's kit before the Nike partnership?
It's Solico.
Yes, there we go. Off the mark. Here we go. We're going to get all these right now, Aaron. Which club is Starboy Dane Scarlett currently on loan from?
Tottenham.
Correct. Pompey recently announced a director of football operations. He is the namesake of which former Pompey player?
Pass. I don't know. I can't remember.
Oh, it's past. Richard Hughes. Number 6. How many games did Andy Orford win as Pompey manager towards the end of the League 2 season in which we became closest to relegation?
6.
Oh, it was 5. Who was the last Pompey player to score a league goal?
That's Pompey cat.
Against Fleetwood.
Oh, bloody hell. Oh, sorry.
Cutting in on the right. Karoma. Number 9. Number 8. How many league goals has Colby Bishop scored this season?
Oh, goodness sake. 4.
Oh, what's 4 plus 3?
7.
Correct. We'll give him that one. Number 9. In which spell at the club did Harry Redknapp have a higher win percentage? Was it the first or was it the second?
Second.
Oh, Aaron, it was the first. Last one. What will Pompey's final League One home game of the season be? Which game?
Oh God!
He wears his wife's jeans.
What?
Their manager.
Oh, for goodness sake!
They waste a lot of time. Come on, Aaron.
I'll pass it. I've lost anyway.
Oh, correct answer is Wickham. Wickham Wanderers is the last one. To be
sake.
fair,
I wish we had a buzzer. I wish we had a buzzer.
I feel like he had a tough set of questions there. To be fair, I think it was a tough set. So we'll take a pinch of salt. Jack, what did he get? Was it 4?
I got 4, yeah.
Yeah, 4. It's not too bad, Aaron. It's a respectable 4.
It's terrible. That was terrible.
It's not too bad. Right, I've tried to find a really tough set for these two because I know they are Pompey gurus. So we will see. Gentlemen, I mean, do you want sets each, or are you happy to just take one?
No, we'll take the one because he's the stats man. I couldn't keep up with him.
Right. Okay. We'll go for Brendan. Brendan, are you ready? Jackie's pen at the ready.
Yeah,
we're doing it together, though, aren't we? Yeah,
you're doing it together. Okay, right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Should we put a 30-minute timer on for Brendan and Mike as well?
30 minutes, yeah.
We'll have 30 minutes. Let's not put 30 minutes. 30 seconds. Let's go for it. Here we go. Question number 1. In which 2 seasons did Pompey win the first division title?
I know.
49, 49-50 and 50-51.
Oh, 48, 49 and 49, 50. But you can have half a mark on that one. Number 2. Who is the only current English director on the board at Portsmouth Football Club?
English director? I believe he's still around. Director. I'm going to say Mark Catlin.
Correct. 3. Pompey were relegated to League 2 in 2013, but in which year were they first relegated to the 4th tier of English football?
This is your era, this is.
Oh, yeah, it's going back some, isn't it? Yeah, must be about, I don't know, 72, 73, something like that.
Oh, it's not far. 78. Number 4. Sean Raggett has played under Danny Cowley before his Pompey career, but at which club?
Lincoln City.
Correct. Which team knocked Pompey out of Which team knocked Pompey out of their UEFA Cup run in 2008-9?
Knocked us out of UEFA Cup.
Knocked us out.
So knocked out in the group stages.
Yeah. And what was the last game?
The last game. Well, we won our last game, so they wouldn't have effectively knocked us out. So.
You sure?
Well, our last game was Herenveen. The one before that was Wolfsburg. We lost away. We lost 4-2 away.
I'll take that as your answer, FC Wolfsburg. Correct. Number 6. Since Harry Redknapp's first managerial spell at the club, which manager has had the lowest win percentage since?
Must be
Since?
Yeah, lowest percentage. It must be Richie, surely.
Richie Barker.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm thinking either him or I'm thinking Tony Adams.
Go with what you're the stats man. Go on.
I'm going to go Tony Adams.
What an answer. Correct. Played 22, lost 11. Number 7. How many times have Pompey won a league game at Fratton Park so far this season?
This season? First game we won at home was the beat Cambridge.
Yeah.
Beat Peterborough.
Yeah.
Beat Bristol Rovers.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to push you, Brendan.
Is it league games, yeah?
League games.
Just league games.
Yeah, I reckon that's it. 3.
Correct. Number 8. Who scored both of Pompey's penalties in their last visit to Portman Road?
Portman Road, that's Ipswich, so that's Colby Bishop.
Correct. Number 9. Who is Pompey's most expensive transfer in the club's history?
It is Peter Crouch.
It's not. It's Lasana Diarra. Number 10.
Hang on, Tom. Go back.
Yeah.
What was the question again? Pompey's highest signing.
Most expensive transfer in the club's history. So it could be signing or selling.
Right. Okay. Question.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Number 10. Pompey are one of only how many teams to have won all 4 of England's top tiers? Is Pompey and how many others?
I'll just be guessing.
Yeah, I'd say 3.
Oh, it's 4. It's
Four.
Pompey, Pompey and 4 others. Well, that was
Why
good
didn't
fun.
I get
Enjoyed
any questions?
that.
I'd have had yours.
Yeah, yours. I'm telling yours, Aaron.
Now, I
Jack
would have got
scores on the
7.
doors.
For Gaz, I got 6. For Aaron, I got 4. And for Brendan and Mike, I got 6.5.
Oh. Oh. Well, just for the fun of it, should we do a little tiebreaker between Gaz and Brendan and Mike anyway? Just because I know Brendan and Mike have officially won, but I think it'd be worth doing a tiebreaker. And in fact, everyone can join in on this if you want. I tell you what, we'll get
I would have got Diarra. But when you said transfer, I thought you said someone that we would have bought. Yeah,
it was a tricky question, and there were a couple thrown in there. So
yeah, for Crouch is our highest one we've ever bought. But if you said, yeah,
a couple of tricky ones thrown in there. Right, I would like everyone to get involved in this. It's going to be a number answer, so get your number brains going. To the nearest 10, how many accurate passes has Marlon Pack played this season so far in a Pompey shirt? I believe this is League One. I can tell you it is a 3-figure number. We'll go around the group and we'll give everyone a little second to think of that. Jack, we'll come to you first and give the Pompey boys a little bit of a ponder. If you were going to go for a stab in the dark, Marlon Pack conducts midfield and is probably the greatest Pompey player this season seen so far. What sort of ballpark are we talking?
In terms of it was the amount of passes. Accurate passes. He likes to pass the ball, doesn't he? And he's good at doing it. He's good at doing it. It's 3 digits. I'd go 600.
Okay, 600, nice round figure. I'll make a note of that. Jack's gone for 600. Joanne Charlton's gone 675 in the comments. Steven said 0. I can tell you it's not 0. Gaz, we'll come to you first, mate, if you don't mind. You've had a little bit of time to ponder.
Yep. You want the answer?
Reckon?
I think it is 585.
585. Okay, we were going to go nearest 10, Gaz, but you can go rogue and go for 585 if you want. That's absolutely fine.
Nearest
He's
10.
that confident. It's 184. Ollie's saying 264. Dan saying 550. Billy saying 240. Pompey in it mush has gone for 270. Lexi has said 532. Aaron, we'll come to you again. I can see Brendan and Mike is still conferring. What do you reckon? What's she thinking?
430. 430. Yeah.
Yeah, nice little smile on his face. And we don't even need to spoil it. Brendan and Mike, what do you reckon?
we thought around that as well, actually.
Yeah, I thought about 79%.
79%. So, how many? That's not what I asked.
Well, that's Garrett because he knows.
What
I
do you
don't
reckon?
Yeah, we'll go 480. Say,
Yeah.
480. Aaron, are you 100% sure that's a guess?
Yeah. I've got nothing here. Oh, I can't even look on Google because I'm using my phone to actually talk to you boys.
Well,
That is honestly 100% guess. It's probably the only thing I've got right tonight so far.
If you're
Without Tom helping you, yeah.
if you
Briggs is very quiet tonight, isn't he?
if you're 100% sure, Aaron, then I could confirm. Yes, 430 is the correct answer. So I'm very impressed by that. I don't know how on earth he's
That was a guess.
Wow, that's
That
impressive.
was a guess. So
Awful
Aaron,
in the quiz, though, wasn't he? He's bloody awful in the quiz.
Oh, terrible.
makes up for it. So and to be fair to Gaz as well, not too far off.
No.
And we take that. Right,
I'm
that
shocked
was a
and
lot
stunned
of fun.
myself.
Thanks very much indeed for that, boys. And Brendan and Mike, you can have the week off next week if you fancy it. Many congratulations.
I'm on
Is
anyway, mate.
It's up and down. So we'll see. Right then, I know we've been going for nearly an hour and a half, and I thought we should probably have limited that to 30 seconds on the answers. But anyway, we'll go around the group. Gaz, what's your score prediction for tomorrow night? You must be really buzzing to make the trip, and final thoughts ahead of it as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an interesting game, end to end, and I'm going to go with 3-0.
Gaz is going 3-0. 3-0. Jack, you've already given us your 2-0, mate. I mean, has the conversation in the last hour and a half or so swayed you in any way, or are we still sticking strong with a 2-0?
I think you will win the game. I'm gonna go 2-1, and you're gonna go 1-0 down and come back and win the game 2-1.
It's actually not improved at all. We've had negative equity on the scoreline since Jack's been with us, but we'll take it nonetheless. Aaron, how you feeling?
I think we definitely will win the game. It's always a nightmare when we're on telly as well, because sometimes if we don't turn up, we could end up just losing completely and utterly. But just hope Danny's got the team working together and we can actually put a performance in. I'm actually going to say 3-1 to Pompey.
Aaron's going 3-1. Before we come to Brendan and Mike for the casting score prediction, Lexi saying 2-1. Andrew said thanks again for the show tonight, and thanks Jack. So thanks Jack. We'll say thanks to Jack in a minute. Can't wait for tomorrow 3 p.m. kickoff for Pompey Clips. Jake's saying 3-1 Pompey. Pompey and Itmush always goals at the Valley 4-2. Dan's going for a 2-1 Pompey win, as is Dan as well. As Stephen said, put the fish up top. So we might give that a go, Aaron, see what happens. Go on then, gents. What are we thinking?
Well, when we spoke to Nappers on last Saturday, we both said 3-1, didn't we? And obviously it was a 1-1 draw. So it was 3-1 again. It's probably not going to be that. So I'm going to go 4. I'm going to go for a 2-0 win Pompey, actually.
And mine's going to be a 2-1 win Pompey.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to give a shout out to all the Pompey fans going up tomorrow. We've sold out our allocation. It's a Monday night from a change of time, and it's live on Sky. So credit to all the Pompey fans who are going up tomorrow. That's brilliant. I'm working, so unfortunately I can't make it up. But credit to everyone going. Yeah, well done, guys and girls, because obviously there'll be some of them as well. But enjoy that, and you get a beer, because last time we went there, we couldn't get a beer on at 3 o'clock or a pie. Couldn't get near them. So good luck tomorrow.
We'll do our very best. Before we leave you, we've had score predictions from all the gang. We've got a few thoughts ahead of Charlton from someone very special that Gaz spent some time with a couple of days ago. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Graham Ricks.
So I'm here at Goodwood on a charity event for a stroke event, and I've only bumped into Graham Ricks.
Hi guys, how are we doing?
How are you doing? All right. Ex-Pompey manager, obviously, you remember him from the past. So how are you keeping there, Graham?
I'm good, Gaz. Yeah, I'm enjoying life.
Good.
Playing crap golf, as you've seen today.
Yeah, it's been emotional. It's been a bit emotional today, but we've been all right. Yeah.
Been rubbish.
Yeah. So this Monday, we got Charlton away. Yeah. How do you think we'll get on? Graham?
You know, it's a tough place to go to. There's no doubt about that. But Pompey, if they play how they can play, they'll get a result, I think.
Yeah.
They will. I think they'll get a result. But, I mean, it's not the same as Fratton Park. Fratton Park is a proper football ground and, passionate. And, the people who get right behind the club. So, but, no, they're doing well. They're doing okay, Pompey.
Yeah. I think we'll bounce back after, obviously, the Fleetwood result, but
that's how it is. In that league, anybody can beat anybody on the day, and it's how you react to it, I think.
That's it, yeah, we've definitely got a stronger squad this season, so onwards and upwards, and thanks, Brian.
Top man, Gaz. Nice to see you.
See ya. Take care. Bye.
Hey, Gaz has got a little friend in Graham Ricks there.
Tom, can I just point out that Graham Ricks is now manager of Fareham Town, and I'll tell you what, he's had a cracking start to this season. Read it in the local paper all the time. Good luck to him, and well done, Gaz. What a scoop!
Gaz, tell us. He's doing great work for Fournilwrittenalloverit all over it. One of our. It feels like a little bit like deadline day, doesn't it? With Gaz on the ground at various points around it, getting the 4-0 scoops. Gaz, tell us, for those who might not be aware, tell us a little bit about your day spent with Graham Ricks and what you're raising money for.
Yeah, basically, I live in Malta, but somehow someone contacted me from the Football Legend Golf Series. because he sees what I do, flying in to watch Portsmouth, etc. And they basically asked me if I could get a team to represent Portsmouth, because they were playing the South Legends. So we were playing a team from Southampton, a team from Brighton, and a team from Bournemouth. And there were some all-stars as well. I'm basically raising money for stroke, because obviously it's out there, and it's not just the elderly that get a stroke. There's kids. It's quite a big topic. So basically, they just got some football legends together, and we were paired off. I got Graham for the day. It was great today. It was great on the day. I was there with some two friends, Jack Beattie and Kev Penfold. Roped him in, and we went there and represented Pompey. Unfortunately, I haven't played golf in 15 years, so I hacked, and it was at Goodwood as well. So Goodwood is a very nice posh place, as you know, and I hacked the hell out of it, shall we say? But it was a great day, and we were obviously raising money and awareness for stroke. And like Graham said there, anyone could beat anyone in this league. Like we saw yesterday, with Ipswich losing. So yeah, it was a good day, and hopefully we'll get some more golfing with another legend at another time.
Well done to you, Gaz. Well done, mate.
Excellent, mate. Thanks very much for sharing that with us. Aaron did this a couple of weeks ago, Jack, and I think it's only right that seeing as we've got you with us, we'll go through it with you, if you wouldn't mind. As soon as I hit the clip, unmute your mic and talk us through the next couple of weeks for Pompey, if you would.
That's fine. Let's do it.
Here we go. Let's do it.
So it's a big game tomorrow, isn't it, against Charlton? That's going to be a really tough game. Then you travel to Forest Green, two really difficult away games back to back. We know the quality of Forest Green after their win against Bolton just a couple of weeks ago. And then we make the long journey down to Pompey on a Tuesday. Now, that's going to be a challenge for Oxford United, and hopefully we make it a challenge for Portsmouth as well. Then you host Shrewsbury Town, who are very close to those top 6 places. A nice EFL Trophy game against AFC Wimbledon, of course, now in League 2 after their relegation last season. Then Morecambe away, of course, currently bottom of the table after a 1-1 draw against Burton yesterday. Of course, then at home to Derby County, a huge game as well.
Brilliant. Look at that. That's how we do it. I'll be out of a job next Sunday. Jack, thank you so much, mate. Look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Cannot wait. It's going to be the first time I get to meet the one and only Young Fan podcast in the flesh. So very much looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it.
Gaz, we're buzzing. We're really excited. Really looking forward to it. Thanks for spending a bit of time with us tonight, Jack. It's been really good fun. Gaz, likewise, mate. Always a pleasure. Brendan and Mike, as you know, the regulars, and Aaron and the Fish Tank and Mrs. Fish Tank from afar. It's been a pleasure too, and we're looking forward to tomorrow night. Will it be capital gains for Pompey? Who knows? Let's see. See you tomorrow. Bye from us.
It's been emotional.